In our Asana Junkies course, we're working through some arm balances in our sequence, and right after them, we're followed by some inversions work with headstand, then handstand, and Pinchamariyasana. And after all of the pushing that goes along with arm balances, it's really nice to counterpose it with the upper back opening that the headstand can yield, handstand can yield, and Pinchamariyasana can yield. The downside is that it can yield that, but if you're not already open, then it generally just becomes stuck poses. So you might find yourself at that part of the sequence having done some arm balances, and you might benefit from a couple upper back opening opportunities. One of my favorite ones to use is with 2 blocks and a strap. And your blocks, keep in mind, have 3 adjustable heights. And so you have to find the height for you that works the best. I've got the blocks and my strap. Then I want this edge of the block on the bottom tips of my shoulder blades, and my head can rest on that one. And so it's fairly simple. This is a really key point, is when you lie down with your upper back right between your 2 shoulder blades, bring your hands lower than your strap, turn your palms up, and keep them up as you grab underneath your strap. That'll keep a strap in a really nice position when you take your arms over your head. If you grab on top and then turn, the strap will tend to move and it doesn't give you the same kind of traction effect. So when you work on this, we're going to do 2 stages. You can work up here, or at the highest height, you'd have this block right between your 2 shoulder blades, your head on this one. Go lower than your straps, turn your arms first, grab from underneath, and then stretch your arms up over your head. All right, so there's a good stage 1, straight arms. And then pull the strap away from you and straighten your legs. Then, the next thing that you can work on is to bend your arms and grab the strap as close down to the block as you can. So you can see this is a good prep for Pinchamariyasana with the bent arms, also for headstand, or handstand to get your upper back to move in well with straight arms. When you come up, you place your hands by your hips and lift your chest with your head back. That'll start to teach you even how to come up to standing from Urdhva Dhanurasana. All right, and the other thing that is a really nice headstand prep is to take the block to the wall. You take the block right behind your back, like so. Then I want to take my elbows right up to the baseboards. And when you lift your hips up, you walk in to get the block as flat against the wall and to get you as flat against the block as you can. This is one of my favorite preparations for headstand. Get the big tricep stretch out of it and a big movement of the upper back in. Sometimes it's not real obvious to think about why the upper back needs to move in so much for headstand, because when you look at it, there is a bit of a rounded shape. Once our arms are in this position, it's very important that we just don't ride that horse in the direction it's going, because we'll have some compression in the neck. That even in this position, we want the capacity to move our upper back in. And so one of the things we would be looking at before we practice it in ourselves, and when we see it before we give it to students, is the capacity for when their arms are in the overhead plane. Not to be super rounded, because that's going to translate to a really bad situation for headstand. But you're looking for the capacity to lift the arm bones up, to move your upper back in into a thoracic extension, because that's what's really happening in the back in headstand, even though it's not as obvious as it is in some other poses. So it's really important before even going up to headstand that you feel you've got some mobility going on in your upper back, and that when you see it in your students, you see that. And if not, then it's just better to do something else. And there's plenty of things to do, like that headstand prep that's not weight bearing in the neck. That's still very beneficial and gives some of the benefits of the posture. So have fun with that. Namaste.